Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be giving a devotional today, and I'm going to be discussing the mark of the beast and the number 666 and how that is represented in Bible prophecy and Bible eschatology. And we want to talk a little bit more about that because we know in prophecy, things can get a little bit convoluted and we could have some ambiguity on some of the meanings and the metaphors and some of these things that are symbolic. But I want to explain this and break this down and extrapolate biblical truths to you today about the mark of the beast. So I'm going to be giving a devotional today based on this. So I'm going to be reading out of the book of Revelation. I'm going to be reading Revelation chapter 13 in verse 16. And I believe that God has a word for you today. Revelation chapter 13, and I'm going to read verse 16. But before I do, I encourage you to smash that subscribe button. If you could hit that subscribe button, I would appreciate it. And if you could jump on board, that would be a blessing. And if you have not put a like on some of these videos, I encourage you to start liking these videos, because if you put a like on the video, you will encourage traffic to hit this channel and more people will be able to see what we're preaching. I do appreciate it. So Revelation chapter 13, and it starts in verse 16, talking about the mark of the beast and the Antichrist. So what does it say? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. That's 666. That's the number of the mark of the beast. So I want to talk about 10 or more specific things about the mark of the beast that is very important. And what does it say right here? What is the first thing that happens when the mark of the beast is being implemented? It says that you cannot buy or sell unless you take this mark of the beast. So this brings up some good memories I want to discuss with you really quickly. The mandates that we experienced over the last couple of years. I don't want to get into the details too much because, I want to be careful on this channel and on this platform. But we know the thing that was, you couldn't buy or sell in certain places unless you had that taken. You couldn't do it. You couldn't walk into certain stores. You couldn't fly into certain areas. There was just, this, I believe, is a prelude of things to come. I believe this was just a stepping stone that was going to bring us to the next level. So this is a preparation. I believe all these things that happen are just events that are bringing us closer to it. But so the first thing that happens when people are taking this mark, or they have to take the mark, one, you can't buy or sell. You can't get into the beast's economy, the Antichrist economy, unless you have that mark. So you can't go to the store and buy anything. You can't, pay your bills. You can't pay your rent. You can't purchase things. You can't sell things. You can't work. You're going to have to, it's going to be a difficult time for people who don't take the mark. It's almost like you're almost forced to do it, or you're going to have to try to survive on the land because you know what? You can't purchase things without the mark of the beast. And so remember, the mandates that happen, you have to put things on your face, you have to put things in your arm, you have to do certain things, or you can't go in here, you can't come in here, you can't buy, you can't sell. See, this is happening quickly. 3 years ago, we would have never thought that we would have seen all the things that have occurred. We know that the Antichrist and the devil is setting up his kingdom real soon. I believe he's roaming around on the earth right now, the Antichrist. I believe he's going to come on the scene before we know it. I believe the rapture is coming. I believe he's coming. I believe the Abomination of Desolation is coming, where he's going to confirm a peace treaty, and then eventually he's going to turn on that peace treaty. So that's the first thing that happens. It says you cannot buy or sell. It says he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. That's the next thing. Not only can you not buy or sell, but you have to put it in your right hand or your forehead. And they're doing that right now with a chip. They put chips in the right hand and forehead. They say the reason why we want to put that in the right hand is because the right hand is warmer in the body. So it actually helps the chip to be more effective if it's put in the right hand. Notice how the Bible was written 2,000 years ago and it already knew all this was going to happen beforehand. This is why God's word is so real. It's so powerful. We need to get ready. Jesus is coming back. He said he's going to come and we're going to be caught up and we're going to be raptured out of here. So we need to be excited for his return. He's coming for you and for me. And we know that we cannot buy or sell without the mark of the beast. See how this is all getting prepared? It's all coming to fruition right now. So that's the second thing I want to talk about is this. You got to put it in your right hand or your forehead. And this is what's happening in different places right now. People are getting chipped right now. This has already gone out. The very chip, we see these chips. People are getting chipped more and more all the time. Companies in Ohio and different areas, they've had people, they've chipped their hands and they can just scan the door and they get right in. So we see this is already happening. It's in their right hand. It's not in their left. The Bible says the right hand. And then they're eventually going to put it on their forehead. Why do you put it on their forehead, by the way? There's something on your forehead. That's the mark. That's the seal of God. That's God's mark. That's the seal of God that he puts on the 144,000. I'm going to read that in a moment. But this is why it's happening. This is why he does it. He's an imposter. He wants to act like he's, righteous. He comes as an angel of light, the Antichrist and Satan. So the mark of the beast is going to happen. So what's the next thing that's going on? Well, it says this. It says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. It has to have the name of the beast on this mark in your right hand or your forehead. It's demonic, Satan. It's the beast. The beast is the Antichrist. The dragon is the devil, giving power to this person. He's a man. This is going to be some man. And in the book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 37 says that he has no desire of women. It says he's got some type of Jewish descent. If he goes right back into Daniel chapter 11, you read it, it talks about how he is going to come out and he's going to be wanting to be worshiped. And this is what's going to happen. And so what is the third thing that's happening? I believe the dollar is being devalued more and more all the time. And you know how many countries depend on the U.S. dollar? We see that the dollar is crashing more and more, and currencies are crashing all across the world. And inflation, we're 31 trillion in debt. This dollar we're chasing too many goods with we're chasing goods with all these dollars. And it's too many dollars chasing too few goods, and that's bringing inflation up. Keep printing money, getting into debt. The economy is a disaster right now. Everything costs way more, the cost of living. What does Revelation say? A day's wage for a loaf of bread. Everything's costing more all the time. To get some eggs, to get gas in your car, to pay your electric bill. The rents just go up everywhere. It's hard to survive. You have to work 2-3 jobs. This is what the scriptures say is going to happen in the end times. The mark of the beast is coming. Now, there are at least 17 countries that have left the US dollar, and they're doing local trading with their own dollar. Those 17 countries, what are they? China and Russia, and they've made a pact together. And we know Russia's eventually going to go down, and they're going to fight against Israel, Gog and Magog. And Turkey and all these countries from the north are going to come in. We know that the kings of the east are going to cross the river Euphrates. This is going to be at the Battle of Armageddon when the last war happens at the end. But who are these 17 countries that have already left the dollar? China, Russia, India, and then Brazil, Kenya, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and 10 Asian nations have already left. India, all these countries, that's 17. 17 countries have left the US dollar. It's devaluing. Before long, we're going to be on a one world currency. They're going to do, what's the next thing? I'm going to give you the next thing about the mark of the beast. They're going to go digital eventually. We see Bitcoin, we see other digital currencies that are out there right now. Eventually, it's going to go digital. They're going to get rid of cash altogether. I went to Walmart several times and said, we don't have any cash. You have to pay by card. We have a cash shortage here. We don't have coins. What's happening is they're going to eventually do away with cash because they're preparing. They're preparing for the mark of the beast. This is what they want to get implemented eventually, because this is what we're going to do. This is what the Antichrist is going to do to impose his will upon everybody. So we see what's going on. And the next thing about the mark of the beast that is very important is this. It's a seal. It goes where? On your hand or your forehead. What does it say? It says you have to put a mark on your right hand or your forehead, and it's a seal. What is that seal? That seal is a bond representing obedience or allegiance to something. And you know what 6 means? 6 is symbolic for man, and 7 is symbolic for completion. And so I want to talk a little bit more about the mark of the beast and what happens if somebody literally takes the mark of the beast. What happens if you take it? That's going to be a serious problem if people take it. I've heard preachers, some preachers erroneously say that if you take the mark of the beast and you repent, then, God will forgive you and you can still go to heaven. But that goes against these scriptures I'm about to read. I want to read the book of Revelation chapter 14, and I'm going to read verse 9 through 11. Revelation 14, verse 9 through 11. What does it say? It says this, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receives a mark in his forehead or in his hand, which is the right hand or forehead, if anyone receives that mark, that's 666, that's the number, 666, that's Satan's image, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God. That's God's judgment. And it says, which is poured out without mixture. That means that this is undiluted. It's full strength, full power, God's full judgment. He's not going to water it down. And it says it's without mixture into a cup of his indignation. That's his wrath, that's his anger. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. That's hell. That's what it is. In the presence of his holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. That's at the judgment seat. That's the great white throne judgment. When these people take the mark of the beast, the Lamb is going to see it. The angels are going to witness it. The judgment of those who took the mark of the beast, they are doomed to hell for all eternity. You say, you sure it's all eternity? Well, I'm going to read verse 11. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth forever. That means forever and ever. It says forever and ever. It repeats it. And they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image. When you take the mark, you're worshiping the beast and his image. And whosoever receiveth the mark of his name will go to the lake of fire for all eternity. It dooms you to hell. This is what's going to happen. This is why Satan is coming on the earth. He wants to get this mark out, because if it's taken, if the mark of the beast is taken, it'll doom people to hell for all eternity. And that's horrible. Now we got to watch out, because they're putting these chips in place. The very chip came out. They have other chips that have come out. If you look at what happened with scanners, they want to put a chip in your hand that can scan, so you don't have to get a credit card. Hey, I don't need a card. This is very efficient, effective. I don't need a card. I don't need to take cash out. I don't need any money. I could just put my hand right on there and purchase whatever it is. The problem with the chip is this. When there's a scanner, the person who initially implemented, it was the original person who came up with the scanner to scan food and prices and all of this, there was a binary code within that scanner. And the binary code led to the number 666. And this is exactly what happened. And so this computer chip's going to have the number 666 in it. And it's going to be in your right hand or your forehead. And the devil is going to make you take it. You can't buy or sell. We've already seen this. We've seen this act before. We've seen this thing before already. You can't go in here unless you are wearing something over your face. You can't go in here unless you prove to us that you've taken this thing. You got to prove it, or you can't buy or sell. See what I'm talking about? This is the beginning. This is the preparation. He's coming on the earth. He is coming, and you know what? When Jesus steps aside, he's going to let him do it for a certain time, because the tribulation has to happen. The whole tribulation has to occur. And then he's going to come back. He's going to rapture his church, come back on the earth, and we're going to reign with him in the millennial reign for 1,000 years. That's exciting times, beloved. But if you take the mark of the beast, Revelation 14, 9 through 11 says, taking the mark of the beast will send you into hell for all eternity. Now, I want to talk about a different type of mark. Why does he do this? Because he's an imposter. He comes as an angel of light. Take the mark of the beast. It's okay. You'll be able to eat. You'll be able to purchase. You'll be able to buy and sell and live your life. You won't have to suffer. You won't have to go through these things. See, this is what happens. This is what he's trying to do. So when you take it, you're doomed. You're his for all eternity. You go to hell. You're better off getting martyred or beheaded instead of taking that mark. Because if you do, you're doomed to hell for all eternity. So he wants to make it look good. You can buy, you can sell, you can pay bills, you can be able to live and enjoy your life. But look what it says, Revelation 13:15. Once that happens, it's only going to get worse. Because at first it's going to be optional. You can't buy or sell. But then it becomes mandatory. Let me read Revelation 13, verse 15. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast, they should be killed. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to get to the next level. You can't buy or sell. Now, if you don't take it, this is the false prophet. He brings in a false religion. He does a bunch of miracles. He wants people to worship, so they'll take the mark of the beast and take the 666 and say that you can buy or sell. Look, we're gods. We're like God. Worship us. We will save you. Take the mark. It's going to be okay. The deception and the lie. And you know what? Eventually, it's going to be like, no more. If you don't have the mark, we find you, you are going to be executed. The guillotines, you're going to be beheaded, and you are going to die. So you either have a choice to get executed and be beheaded, or die, or take the mark, and you can live. And you can live freely. This is what he's going to do. He's going to force people eventually to have to take it. You've got to take this. They were talking about this thing again in the arm. They were talking about, you know what, if you don't take it, you're going to be a menace to society. And we're going to go in there, we're going to arrest you, tie you up, and we're going to put it in there and force it in there. You see, this is what they want to try to do, make you take it. But you say, what if they force me, they put the mark on me and I resist it? You didn't take it. It says you have to take it. You have to willingly take it. If they force it on you, that doesn't matter. You didn't take it. You are with Jesus no matter what. As long as you don't say, give me the mark. I want to buy and sell. I'm going to take it. I'm going to be, my allegiance is to the beast. Don't do that. As long as you don't do that. These are people that are on the earth during that time, by the way. So anyway, I want to talk about the mark, God's mark. Revelation chapter 9 and verse 4 says, and it was commanded then, this is the locusts, this is the demons. They were locusts, but it's symbolic. It's metaphorically speaking for demonic activity. It was commanded then that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither the green thing, neither any tree, Revelation 9:4, but only those which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. They couldn't torment God's people, the 144,000. It says that the demons, the locusts, couldn't touch them because they had the seal of God on their foreheads. And verse 9 says, and it was to them, these are the demons, the locusts, it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. These demons were coming to torment people on the earth, suffering, making them suffer in agony and pain. I believe the pits are opening up more and more. There's so much demonic activity. Look at all the shootings. Look at, you turn on the TV, there's a shooting here, transgender over here, teaching kids in school perversion in the books, same-sex marriage, violence, all kinds of wickedness, debauchery, immorality, people turning from God, apostasy. We see it going on because the devil is about ready to come on the scene. But the 144,000 did not take that mark of the beast, but had the mark of God. See the difference? They had the mark of God, the seal of God. And I believe those saints that are going to be there, Christians on the earth, I believe God will protect. He's going to protect his own that are on the earth. He's going to bless them. They could not hurt the 144,000. They couldn't touch them. You see, that was the seal of God. That was God's mark. I believe that was a mark of 7, of completion. God's holy mark, God's righteous mark was upon them, and the devil couldn't touch them. You see that? In Revelation chapter 13, and we read the mark of the beast, what does it say about it? It says, here is wisdom. Let him that understandeth count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And his number is 666. It says it's the number of man. Remember I said before, 6 is symbolic for man. 7 is symbolic for perfection. So 144,000 had the seal of God on their forehead. Notice how the enemy, the devil, had to put his mark on the forehead or on the hand because he's an imposter. He's trying to make it look good. He's trying to act like something. Revelation 13. And in verse 3 through 5, look what he's doing. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. That's the Antichrist. He got a wound in the head. He died. And it says the world wondered after him. He's going to die, and he's going to come back to life. You know what? Jesus died and rose again. He's an imposter. The dragon's going to give him that strength. Because look at verse 4. And they worship the dragon. That's Satan. People worshiping Satan and the Antichrist, which gave power unto the beast. He raised them up, the Antichrist and the Satan. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? The Antichrist. Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth to speak great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. That's 3.5 years. That's during the Great Tribulation, where he breaks that peace treaty. And it says in verse 7, it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And what does that say? It's the same thing in Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. He's going to speak evil things against God and blasphemies, and he's going to demand worship, and he's going to make war with the tribulation saints. But God is going to bless, he's going to protect, and you know what? We know this is all coming. We see it happening, but this is the book of Revelation. The good news is Jesus is coming back for us. We are going to be with him, and we're going to be caught up in the clouds. We are going to be with Jesus forever. We're going to come back on the earth for 1,000 years. The beast is going to be destroyed. He's going to be cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. His time is short. His time is limited. He's only got a short time during the tribulation, and then he's going to be judged. And we as believers who receive Christ, not only going to be caught up and raptured, but we're going to be coming back on the earth and rule and reign with Jesus for 1,000 years. Then we're going to have eternity in the new Jerusalem, the new heaven and the new earth. God's got great plans. We need to be ready. We need to be prepared. We need to watch, because we see wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes. We see pestilences. We see all kinds of false prophets coming in and teaching things. We know that we're at the end. We need to be ready. Jesus could come at any moment. He's coming soon, and he's coming for you, and he's coming for me. If this devotion blessed you, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Put a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking, and I will have a video up again coming up really soon. And may God continue to bless you as you wait for his return.